When someone hurts you, your emotions surge like a storm. Your heart races, your mind spirals, and the natural instinct is to react, lash out, to defend, to prove a point. But here's the truth. The moment you react emotionally, you give the other person power over you. They've won. They got inside your head, controlled your state, and dictated your behavior. That's not power. That's weakness in disguise. Real power, real strength, it comes from mastering your emotions, no matter what anyone says or does. Think about this. When you're in control of your emotions, you become untouchable. No one can push your buttons because you own the control panel. That's the kind of power that makes people stop and wonder. It confuses them because they expect a certain reaction, and when they don't get it, they lose their grip on you. Instead of being predictable, falling into anger, sadness, or frustration, you become an enigma, a force that operates on a higher level. So how do you master your emotions? The first step is awareness. Most people don't even realize when they're being controlled by their emotions. They react instinctively like a puppet on a string without pausing to assess what's happening. But when you train yourself to recognize your emotional triggers, everything changes. The next time someone says something hurtful, catch yourself in that split second before you react. Feel the emotion rise, acknowledge it, but don't let it take over. Instead, breathe, center yourself, remind yourself, I control my emotions. My emotions do not control me. Once you've built awareness, the next step is detachment. This doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. It means you don't let them dictate your actions. It means stepping back mentally and observing the situation from a higher perspective. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does my reaction serve me or does it serve them? Most of the time, the answer is clear. Responding emotionally gives them the upper hand, while staying centered keeps you in power. People who try to hurt you are often looking for a reaction. Maybe they want to manipulate you, make you feel small, or provoke you into a fight. But what happens when they don't get what they expect? Imagine someone trying to insult you, waiting for you to get defensive or break down, and instead you just smile, nod, and move on. That's not weakness. That's absolute strength. It confuses them. It disarms them. They realize they have no control over you, and that realization alone makes them feel powerless. One of the most effective ways to maintain control over your emotions is by shifting your focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you focus on the pain, the insult, or the betrayal, your emotions will spiral downward. But if you shift your focus to what truly matters, your growth, your goals, your own sense of self-worth, you take the power away from negativity. Instead of reacting to the situation, you use it as a lesson. You train yourself to see challenges as opportunities for personal growth. And let's be real. This is about suppressing your emotions. Suppressing emotions is like holding a beach ball underwater. You can keep it down for a while, but eventually it'll pop up with even more force. Mastering your emotions isn't about pretending things don't affect you. It's about processing those emotions in a way that serves you instead of sabotaging you. If you feel hurt, acknowledge it, feel it, but don't dwell on it. Use it as fuel. Channel that energy into something productive, whether it's working out, building your business, or simply walking away with your dignity intact. There's another powerful technique that can help changing your physiology. Your emotions are directly linked to your body. Think about it. When you're angry, your muscles tense up, your breathing gets shallow, your posture collapses. But if you straighten your back, take deep breaths, and hold yourself with confidence, your emotions will follow. Try it next time you feel triggered. Stand tall, take a deep breath, and refuse to shrink in the presence of negativity. You'll be amazed at how quickly your state shifts. Lastly, mastering your emotions means developing emotional resilience. Life will test you, people will hurt you, situations will push you to your limits. But resilience isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about learning how to bounce back stronger every time. Every challenge is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are bigger than your emotions. Every time you choose calm over chaos, confidence over insecurity, strength over weakness, you reinforce that power within you. And here's the best part. The more you master your emotions, the more respect you command. People admire those who are unshaken by negativity. They look up to those who remain composed under pressure. That kind of self-control is rare, and it makes you stand out. You become the kind of person others aspire to be, someone who operates on a level that drama and toxicity simply cannot touch. So the next time someone tries to hurt you, don't react, respond. Pause, breathe, and choose your reaction with intention. Confuse them with your composure. Disarm them with your indifference. Show them that no matter what they do, they cannot break you. Because at the end of the day, the person who wins is the one who refuses to lose themselves. When someone tries to hurt you, they are expecting a certain reaction. They expect you to get angry, to break down, to argue, to defend yourself, to give them energy. That's the game. And most people fall for it. They react exactly how they're supposed to, following the same predictable emotional script. The person causing the pain watches, feeds off the reaction, and feels a sense of control. It's a pattern, and as long as you keep playing your role, they'll keep playing theirs. But what happens when you break that pattern? What happens when you don't give them what they expect? Confusion, discomfort, a loss of control on their end. Suddenly, the power dynamic shifts, and they are the ones left scrambling, wondering why their usual tactics aren't working. That's how you take back control. That's how you turn the tables. Not by reacting in anger, but by responding in a way that disrupts the very foundation of their strategy. Imagine this. Someone insults you, fully expecting you to fire back, but instead of getting defensive, you just smile and say, "I hope you have a great day." Or maybe they try to make you jealous, expecting you to chase after them, but instead, you show zero interest, as if their actions have no effect on you whatsoever. What do they do now? How do they respond when their entire plan was built on provoking you? That moment of confusion is the first sign that you are no longer playing their game. Most people live in reaction mode. Their emotions are like a puppet controlled by external triggers. But when you make the decision to respond instead of react, you step into a different level of power. You become unpredictable. And unpredictability makes people nervous. It forces them to reevaluate their approach, because what worked on others, or even what worked on you before, suddenly doesn't work anymore. They don't know what to expect, and that throws them off balance. One of the best ways to break a pattern is through non-engagement. When someone wants to hurt you, they want to pull you into a cycle of negativity, drama, or pain. They want your attention, your energy, your focus. But what happens when you give them nothing? No reaction, no emotional investment, just silence or a calm, detached response. They become frustrated because their words or actions have lost their power. There's an old saying, never wrestle with a pig. You both get dirty and the pig likes it. Some people thrive on emotional chaos. They want you to fight, argue, or prove yourself. But when you refuse to step into their battlefield, they are left fighting an opponent who simply isn't there. That's when the confusion sets in. That's when they start to realize that they have no hold over you. But sometimes the best way to break the expected pattern isn't just through silence. It's through an unexpected, elevated response. Instead of reacting with anger, respond with kindness. Instead of getting defensive, agree with them in an unexpected way. If someone calls you weak, instead of arguing, just laugh and say, "Yeah, maybe you're right." If they try to bring up your past to shame you, just nod and say, "I've grown a lot since then." Watch how quickly their confidence crumbles when they realize their words don't hurt you the way they thought they would. The key is emotional control. Because if they can't trigger you, they can't manipulate you. If they can't predict your response, they can't strategize against you. This is why staying calm is so powerful. It sends a message. I am in control, not you. People expect tension to be met with tension. But when you meet hostility with peace, when you meet manipulation with indifference, when you meet insults with unshakable confidence, you become the one in charge of the interaction. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means choosing your responses with intention. There's a difference between bottling up your feelings and strategically deciding when, where, and how you express them. If someone hurts you, it's okay to feel that pain, but don't give them the satisfaction of seeing it break you. Process it privately, channel it into growth, but outwardly maintain your power. Some people mistake breaking the pattern for weakness. They think that not fighting back means letting someone win. But real power doesn't come from proving a point to someone who doesn't deserve your energy. Real power comes from rising above, from staying focused on what actually matters, from refusing to let someone else dictate your emotional state. It's not about letting them off the hook. It's about letting yourself off the hook from wasting time and energy on a battle that isn't worth fighting. The most powerful people in the world are the ones who remain unshaken in the face of provocation. They don't get pulled into drama. They don't lower themselves to petty arguments, and they don't waste their time proving themselves to people who thrive on conflict. Instead, they stay centered, they stay composed, and they stay in control. That's the kind of energy that commands respect. That's the kind of mindset that makes people think twice before trying to manipulate you. So the next time someone tries to hurt you, don't react. Respond. Stay calm, stay unpredictable, and watch as they struggle to understand how they lost their ability to control you. Because the moment they realize their words and actions no longer affect you, they lose all their power. And that right there is the ultimate victory. When someone hurts you, the first instinct is often to defend yourself, to explain, to argue, or to prove your worth. It's natural. You want them to see your value, to acknowledge their mistake, to realize what they've lost. But here's the truth. The moment you start chasing validation, you lower your value. You step into a position of seeking approval rather than standing in your power. And the more you fight for someone to see your worth, the more they take you for granted. True power doesn't come from convincing someone to respect you. True power comes from knowing your value so deeply that their recognition or lack of it becomes irrelevant. Raising your value doesn't mean shouting louder, arguing harder, or proving a point. It means embodying self-respect in a way that speaks for itself. It means understanding that your worth isn't based on someone else's ability to recognize it. It's about carrying yourself in a way that silently demands respect, not through force, but through the unwavering confidence that you are enough. When you truly internalize this, your energy shifts. You no longer react from a place of insecurity. You no longer tolerate disrespect, and the people around you, they feel that shift. Most people try to establish their worth externally. They seek validation through praise, attention, or reassurance from others. But external validation is fleeting. If your confidence is built on someone else's approval, it will shatter the moment that approval is taken away. Real self-worth is built internally. It's knowing deep down that you are valuable regardless of who acknowledges it. When you operate from that place, you don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to fight for someone's attention. You don't need to explain why you deserve respect. You simply exist in a way that commands it. The irony is that the less you try to prove your worth, the more valuable you appear. People are naturally drawn to those who exude quiet confidence, who don't seek validation, who move through life with a sense of purpose and self-respect. This is the energy that makes others take notice, not because you demanded it, but because you embodied it. There is nothing more confusing to someone who expects you to beg, argue, or chase than watching you simply walk away with your dignity intact. The way you carry yourself in difficult moments reveals everything. When someone tries to hurt you, they are testing your self-worth. They are watching to see if you will lower yourself, if you will compromise your standards, if you will let their words or actions shake your foundation. The strongest response is not anger. It's not proving them wrong. It's showing through your actions that their behavior does not define you. It's choosing to walk away from toxic cycles instead of getting trapped in them. It's demonstrating that you value yourself too much to stay in a situation that diminishes your light. This is not about arrogance. It's not about pretending to be superior. It's about recognizing that every time you engage in a battle to prove your worth, you are handing over your power. You are allowing someone else's opinion to dictate your self-perception. You are making their validation a requirement for your confidence. That's a dangerous game, because the moment you rely on external validation, you give others the ability to take it away. True confidence, the kind that lasts, comes from within. It comes from the quiet knowing that you are enough as you are, that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see it. One of the most powerful things you can do when someone disrespects you is to remove yourself from the situation with grace. Not in anger, not in resentment, but with the certainty that you deserve better. When you choose not to engage in toxicity, you are setting a new standard. Not just for how others treat you, but for how you treat yourself. You are teaching yourself that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on people who don't appreciate it. And that lesson, once truly learned, changes everything. Think about the people you respect the most. Are they the ones who constantly seek approval? The ones who argue endlessly to prove their worth? Or are they the ones who know their value so deeply that they never feel the need to defend it? True respect is earned not through words, but through presence. Through the quiet confidence that radiates from someone who knows exactly who they are. When you raise your value, something interesting happens. The people who once took you for granted start to see you differently. They begin to realize that they cannot treat you the same way they used to because you no longer allow it. And for some, this is unsettling. They will test you, trying to pull you back into old patterns. But the difference now is that you no longer respond in the same way. You no longer seek their approval. You no longer need them to validate your worth. Raising your value is about setting a new standard, not just in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. It's about moving differently, thinking differently, and choosing differently. It's about understanding that you are the prize, and when you truly embody that belief, everything shifts. You no longer waste time on people who don't appreciate you. You no longer settle for less than you deserve. You no longer feel the need to explain why you are worthy, because you simply are. So the next time someone tries to hurt you, don't react, don't argue, don't beg for respect. Instead, stand tall, walk away with confidence, and watch as they struggle to understand how they lost access to someone they once thought they could take for granted. Because when you raise your value, you don't need to prove anything. You simply become someone who demands respect, not through words, but through presence. When someone hurts you, the immediate reaction is often to dwell on it, to replay the words they said, to analyze their actions, to wonder why they did it and how you could have responded differently. The mind fixates on the pain, creating endless scenarios that only deepen the wound. But here's the truth. What you focus on expands. If you keep feeding the pain with your attention, it will consume you. If you keep looking backward, you'll stay stuck in a loop of hurt, frustration, and resentment. The key to breaking free isn't in overanalyzing the past. It's in shifting your focus forward. It's in redirecting your energy towards something greater than the pain, something that fuels you instead of drains you. Imagine your mind as a lens. Whatever you zoom in on becomes your reality. If you focus on betrayal, you start seeing more reasons to feel betrayed. If you focus on injustice, you find more examples of unfairness in your life. But if you shift your focus to growth, to strength, to the opportunities that come from adversity, suddenly the pain loses its grip. It no longer defines you. It fuels you. The most successful people in the world have mastered this skill. They don't waste energy obsessing over what went wrong. They take the lesson, they adjust, and they channel their energy into their future. That's how you turn pain into power. This isn't about pretending the pain doesn't exist. It's about choosing what to do with it. You can let it weigh you down, or you can use it as fuel to propel yourself forward. Every time someone hurts you, you are given a choice: to stay in the pain or to rise above it. And the only way to truly rise is by shifting your focus to what comes next. What can you build from this? What can you learn? How can you use this experience to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient? One of the most powerful things you can do after being hurt is to pour your energy into something meaningful. Instead of spending hours replaying conversations, use that time to build something, work on your goals, invest in your passions, elevate your mindset. The moment you take your focus away from them and onto yourself, the dynamic shifts. They no longer have power over your emotions. They no longer control your narrative. You become the one in charge. And that is a position of true strength. Think about the people who have achieved incredible success after experiencing deep pain. The greatest artists, entrepreneurs, and leaders didn't let heartbreak, rejection, or betrayal define them. They used it. They turned it into fuel. They didn't sit around waiting for an apology or validation. They focused forward, and in doing so, they elevated themselves beyond their circumstances. You have the same ability. The question is, will you use it? One of the most dangerous traps of emotional pain is the belief that you need closure to move on, that you need the other person to apologize, to explain, to acknowledge what they did. But waiting for closure is just another way of giving away your power. The truth is, closure isn't something you get from someone else. It's something you give yourself. It's the decision to stop waiting, stop wondering, and start living again. Wait to start living again. The moment you realize that their actions no longer deserve your attention, you free yourself. Redirecting your energy also means shifting your environment. If you stay surrounded by reminders of the hurt, it's harder to move forward. Change your space, change your habits, change the conversations you have. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who push you, who remind you of your worth. The energy around you shapes your mindset. And your mindset determines your future. If you want to break free from pain, start by curating an environment that supports your growth, not your wounds. Another powerful tool in shifting your focus is gratitude. It may seem impossible to feel grateful in the midst of pain, but gratitude is the ultimate perspective shifter. It takes your mind from what you lost to what you still have, from what hurt you to what's still possible. Every challenge, every hardship, every painful experience carries within it a hidden gift, a lesson, a redirection, an opportunity for something greater. But you only see it when you're willing to shift your focus. This is how you confuse the person who hurt you. They expect you to stay stuck in pain, to keep looking back, to let their actions define you. But when you shift your focus forward, when you start thriving instead of suffering, they lose all control. They realize they didn't break you. They realize their power over you is gone. And that in itself is a form of victory. Shifting your focus isn't just about moving on, it's about moving up. It's about using the experience as a stepping stone instead of a roadblock. It's about deciding that your future is more important than your past. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who never feel pain. They're the ones who refuse to let pain define them. They take what happened, they learn from it, and they move forward with even greater purpose. So the next time someone hurts you, don't waste time asking why. Don't dwell on what they did. Take that energy and put it into yourself. Focus forward. Focus on your growth, your future, your power, because the best revenge isn't anger, it's success. The best response isn't proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right. And the best way to truly heal isn't by looking back, it's by stepping fully into the incredible future that's waiting for you.